Shalom, family. Welcome. Welcome again, and thank you for joining me on this Shabbat. Um, Happy Shabbat, and I hope all of you are resting well. I am doing, of course, a continuation of the discussion that um, I have been having in regards to the state of Babylon, the state of America, the head of Babylon, and all of the different parts of Babylon that are falling, that will continue to fall, and will result in the complete collapse and destruction of America. And also to the Western countries, specifically in Europe, um, Canada, Australia, pretty much all the countries that are a part of holding up this system that are satellite countries to Europe and America, they will be affected. So in the previous video I did, it was discussing labor and how labor is one of the parts to this downward fall that we're seeing happen in America and worldwide. And in this video, I wanted to discuss, just go into more detail about the economics of what we are seeing. So this video will be touching on economics, which is, I would say, connected to labor, but this will be more focused on what we are seeing happening concerning tariffs, and just the destruction of the American economy. So as mentioned, in the previous video, I did touch on a few points when I was discussing labor, and one of them was an update to Florida seeking to implement changes to child labor laws to allow 14-year-olds to work from 11 p.m. To 6:30 a.m. And with child labor laws, there are restrictions of when children under a certain age can work. And what the governor of Florida is seeking to do is to remove those restrictions because, according to him, labor is required because many of these undesired low-wage positions are not being filled because of the deportations that are happening across America. And just to go further into that, it's not only Florida is, looking at labor laws, looking at ways to get people into the workforce. And before that, I did also touch on Arkansas, which is looking pretty much to make people work if they want their Medicaid. But other states are also seeking to do that, and those states include Ohio, Iowa, and Montana. and they want to implement work requirements for non-disabled adults, um, saying that they would be mandated to be enrolled in training programs or to be working in order to continue receiving their Medicaid benefits. So you're going to see more of this. You're going to see more states looking at ways to get people to work if they want benefits. And in the article, in this article that I'm looking at is an April 15th article from NPR. It goes into details just explaining that even with such requirements, historical data has shown that these programs do not encourage people to work because those that can already work are working. So saying to someone, hey, you are on Medicaid, you're able bodied, you can work, let's get you into a training program. From the historical data that is being presented, and this article is called States Push Medicaid Work Rules, but Few Programs Help Enrollees Find Jobs. They're basically saying what I said in my video called America is Broke, that many of these people, even when you do, train them or you get them into a job, they're not able to continue working because of various reasons, whether it be physical, whether it be mental health concern. They're not able to continue working because many of them have been out of the workforce for so long, and on top of that, they have, different layers of issues that are happening that does not allow them to work long term. And I did touch on that, and I said that um, it's not going to work, but they are going to try and do it because, again, they are looking for workers to fill these roles that uh, immigrants were working in before they started being deported. And they will continue to struggle to find employees, to find workers, because their system is just not set up to function in that way. The American system is set up to function on a slave based economy, and an economy that is focused on low wage workers. That goes for farmers. That goes for different services needed to keep towns and cities running. Nannies, daycares, cleaners, roofers, lawn care, fruit pickers, and the list goes on and on. Also, uh, the American economy uses prisoners, which, if you are not aware, if you are a prisoner in the United States, they can make you work for free. It's basically legalized slavery, and they use prisoners to do all sorts of things. The last high-profile job that they used prisoners for was to fight the wildfires in California. And that's because they had a shortage of firefighters. So this is what you are going to see, and I just wanted to bring that up because this is going to spread. Trying to find workers to fill these low wage positions, these undesirable positions, they're going to continue to try and fill them in different ways. And the way that they are, the states are starting to focus on is to see if they can get more workers, or sorry, more people to work in these roles in order so that they can continue getting their state benefits. Also, in the previous video that I did, I also touched on um, the deception that is being told of America first, that, you know, America needs to focus on Americans and stop focusing on other countries and their their problems and their issues that they have. And it is a deception because, as I have been saying, America is broke. It's something to say to make people who want to believe in what the president of the United States is saying. Uh, it's something to hold on to and say, yes, we need to focus on Americans, because why are we sending all of this money all over the world when we have our problems right here at home? And what the president of the United States is failing to tell the American people, and will continue to do so because it is based in deception, is that America is broke, and it has nothing to do with placing America first. What it does have to do with is greed, picking out what is left, restructuring a company, the company being the United States of America, so that it can be more profitable for its shareholders before the complete shutdown of the corporation. And the president of the United States and those that are surrounding him and that are working uh, with him toward this goal may not view it as a shutdown of the corporation. Again, the corporation being the United States of America, but that is what is going to happen whether they are aiming for that or not. Which I do think that they are looking at it in a manner to make America more profitable for the for the shareholders, for the CEO to make it profitable for the sorry, yes, for the CEO to make it profitable for the shareholders, but that may happen for a short time, but the ultimate result of all these actions that they have taken is going to be the shutdown of the corporation, selling everything off, including its citizens, into captivity, into cheap, affordable labor all over the world. because they're broke. America is broke. The idea that they're going to bring all these businesses back to America, all these manufacturing businesses, so that they can have this so called golden age, it is not going to happen. And over the last week or so, I've heard a lot of, talking points. I've heard people say a number of things. And one thing that I find glaring is that those that support the President of the United States are still saying that they want to give him a chance to see what he can do because he is a really good businessman. And the only thing that those people are going to see is they're going to see more of their wealth taken from them. They're going to see harder times, and they're not going to get the assistance that they're looking for when they need it, when they are thinking in their mind America first, and their government will be there for them. They're not going to be there for them. That is not what you're going to see. And an example of this is recently, FEMA denied Washington State disaster relief from the bomb cyclone that happened last November. So, Washington State experienced a bomb cyclone, which is pretty much a hurricane on the West Coast. They experienced this in November of 2024, and the governor is seeking $34 million to recover from damages throughout the state. And FEMA just outright denied any assistance. And if you remember in the last video that I did, I said that FEMA stopped any assistance to North Carolina for the hurricane that happened last year, September. So, where's America first? I don't see that. I see a corporation that is cutting their budget because they need to have money to pay their debt. I see a corporation that is not able to fulfill promises and commitments and is trying to find a way to place the financial responsibility on others. Because isn't FEMA set up to address these types of disasters throughout the United States? Isn't that the purpose of FEMA? And the President of the United States has made it clear that he wants to shut down FEMA. And he said he wants to leave the cleanup, the disaster relief, to each state. And many states are broke. And he knows that. So this is, for me, it is a glaring example and a continuation of what we have seen and we will continue to see. We are in the month of April. There's going to be, I'm pretty sure, wildfires. There is going to be whirlwinds. There's going to be many types of storms that will be coming throughout the remainder of the year. And if these disasters are going to occur and the federal government is not going to offer assistance and then tell the states that they need to fix the problem, they need to provide relief to their citizens of their state, this is only going to compound, and it's going to create a more volatile and disastrous situation throughout the United States. So, as disasters happen throughout America, you're not going to see the government say America first and come and help. Again, they have said America first, but now when it comes time for them to follow through and assist the citizens, you're not going to see that. They're going to try to find someone, some other agency to put the responsibility on. And again, they know that wherever they're directing people to go, that where they're directing them also has no resources for them. And it's just going to compound. It's just going to get worse. You're going to see where places may be without power for weeks. I wouldn't even be surprised if it would go into months. Roads not being cleared. People starting to have issues with secondary disasters through pestilence, infections. And speaking of that, you need medication, right? I mean, you need that medication in order to get you well again if you do have an infection, if you have some type of disease, if you have an ailment, you would want that medication to get you better. And most of that medication is made in China. And China has told the President of the United States to stop whining. They have also said that they have set up their system that they are no longer reliant on the United States for resources and that it is fine. It doesn't matter how high the President of the United States wants to raise their tariffs, they're okay. And so far, they have moved their sourcing of different meats from the United States to countries like Brazil, Argentina, and Australia. They have also moved their sourcing for corn and soybean to those same locations. For oil, they have cut their orders of oil to the United States by 90% and are now getting their supply of oil from Canada. They have also limited the orders for Chinese airlines to Boeing, an American company. The shipping vessels from China to America in the next, I would say, 6 to 8 weeks, you will see are severely limited. So the supply that some of your favorite stores, retailers would get to fill those shelves throughout America, they will no longer be filled. Those shelves are going to start being empty because those shipping containers are not going to be coming over from China to the United States. And it's going to continue. I don't see China saying, okay, let's come and have a discussion. I don't see I don't see China saying, let's talk about this. I don't see it. I do see that they will continue doing what they're doing, finding their suppliers elsewhere in other countries, and continuing as if nothing else is happening. This is for them just a blip in their daily business activities. As you would see a corporation have to source for a new supplier. They have their new suppliers and they're going to continue business as usual. That's what we're seeing. And the United States farmers, business owners, customers, they're the ones that's going to get the bill. They're the ones that are going to go out of business. So again, I'm not seeing America first. I'm not seeing it. Because if it was America first, the President of the United States wouldn't put America in such a vulnerable position, would not put the American farmer in such a vulnerable position. He would not put American businesses in such a vulnerable position. He would not put the everyday American that, goes to their local retail store in a vulnerable position. It just wouldn't happen. But it is happening. And if you ask yourself why that is, I think that's a good place to start. Why is that? I mean, why would the President of the United States do all of this? Not knowing what the outcome would be, why take such a risk? And it's because he was hired to do what he's doing. He needs to dismantle the United States. America needs to be restructured. It needs to be developed for another purpose. And further to that, what we're also seeing is American born. Again, these are American born citizens are being detained for hours acts to prove that they are American. Even when the proof is provided, they are still being detained. You're also seeing Americans who are naturalized. So these are naturalized American people. People have come from other countries. They have went through the whole process and they have become American citizens. They're also being detained and asked to prove that they are American citizens. And when they are given the proof, these people are still being detained. You have discussions that are being caught. And personally, I don't think that it was, you know, a situation where it was done and they didn't know that people were listening. I do feel that the President of the United States did not care if his discussions with the president of El Salvador was being recorded. I don't think he cares. But we're being told, what we're hearing is that the President of the United States is now asking the President of El Salvador to build 5 more facilities to house homegrown criminals. Homegrown are Americans. And when you go to El Salvador, how do you get out? You don't get out. You don't. You just work. You work every day. That's what you do. You work every single day. There is no getting out. It's captivity. And what is happening now is people are starting to think about ways to leave the United States. And as I said in one of my previous videos, the wall that's being built at the southern border, this wall is to keep Americans in, is to keep you in America so that you cannot leave. Okay? And, you know, you're going to see where on the coastlines, they're going to definitely increase the patrols on the coastlines. They're going to be implementing different types of technology that senses if there are boats, if there's any movement going in and out of the shorelines to the East Coast, the West Coast, and also the southern United States. Florida, Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, you're going to see a discussion about protecting the shoreline. And the way it will be framed is that, you know, people are trying to come into our country and we need to protect the borders. These cartels are coming in and we need to make sure that we are putting America first and we are protecting America and Americans. And who wouldn't want that? I mean, who wouldn't want that protection? Who would not want to say, you know what? We are protecting our borders finally. But again, this is to keep you in. America, because this type of surveillance, this type of technology works both ways, to keep people in and to keep people out. And this detaining of American citizens. So within the span of 3 months, this administration has moved from speaking about deporting illegal immigrants to now discussing moving homegrown, these are American citizens, to now discussing deporting them to different countries. Now, they are saying, of course, El Salvador. They have mentioned also Guantanamo Bay on Cuba, but they're going to come up with different countries to send Americans all around the world to do labor. And that labor over a certain amount of time will turn into captivity. It will continue and it will just turn into a brutal captivity. Something that, again, they never thought possible that could happen, but will happen. And these are going to be other countries that the United States is going to enlist to send American citizens around the world. It is not just going to be El Salvador. They are going to get other countries to send American citizens. And when those American citizens get there, they are going to be in captivity. They first need to criminalize the citizen. Once you are criminalized, will then, according to the American Constitution, if you are a prisoner, you're pretty much a slave. Yes, they can work you from sunup to sundown, and you can't say or do nothing about it. They are still unaliving. They are still unaliving Yahuwah's people to this day in prisons all around the United States. Yes, the prison guards are still unaliving so-called Black people. It's still happening. Do you see any protests for that by other groups? I don't. And Yahuwah's judgment is not personal based. It's not where, a person does something and it's only that person that gets the judgment. That's not how the Most High works. And if you read his word, you know that's not how he works. In Egypt, when the Most High sent Moses, or Moshe, when he sent him to tell Pharaoh to let my people go, all of the plagues were on the whole of Egypt. It was not only on Pharaoh's household and, all of the families that benefited directly from having the Hebrews in captivity. It was all of Egypt. And those Egyptians that escaped, that were able to leave Egypt with the Hebrews, they clinged to the Hebrews. There was a cleaving that they did with the Hebrews, that they were able to leave during the Exodus. If you read the word of the Most High, it speaks of when a person sins and is unrepentant, the judgment comes upon their whole family. It comes upon their descendants. That's how the Most High works. So, you know, there may be people, there may be Gentiles that will say they didn't do nothing. Their family never had any Black people in captivity, that they never mistreated them. But the nation and the people that they come from definitely did. And have they repented? Have they turned from their wickedness, from the ways of their people? And there was many who benefited from the enslavement of so-called Black people. Many people benefited, many nations benefited. That means that if they have not repented, and the repenting is individual. Individually, yes, you can repent. But the nation, the nations and the people all around the world, they will still get the judgment. They're going to still get it. And as I said a number of times, there's nothing that they can do to avoid this judgment. They are going to receive the judgment. They may want to speak their way out of it and say, you know, we're going to come back stronger and better than ever. But after a few decades, they're going to realize that they're not coming back, that there's no building back stronger. There's no together we can build back better. There is no let's make America great again, or let's make Great Britain great again, or let's make Europe great again. Because that's not going to be happening. And when these things start to happen, it is going to be an astonishment. It's going to be an astonishment to the whole world, and no one is going to come and help. No one is going to come to their help. No one is going to say, I can't believe that this happened to you. I can't believe that they did this to you. Let me see what I can do. No one is coming to their help. So the best thing that you can do if you are a so-called Black person, if you are a Hebrew Israelite, I'm talking about birthright. You're from the Caribbean. You're from America, Canada, UK, wherever you were born, and you know who you are. The best thing that you can do is to stop trying to fit in with the heathens and to stay away from them. Because they have shown you over the last 400 plus years that there is no fitting in. There is no realization of the wickedness that they have done and the need to repent. Yahuwah's word said that they will find themselves not guilty for all that they have done. They are standing in arrogance and in pride, and the Most High has set their heart that way so that when the judgment comes, there is going to be nothing that they're going to be able to do and no one that is going to be able to help them. And economically, the U.S. is going to continue to decline. And they will continue to be isolated. More isolation is going to come. More extreme measures, more extreme language is going to be used by the American administration, by the President of the United States against their own people and toward nations across the world. More obscene language. And they are testing to see how far they can take this, and they're going to try to take it all the way. All the way, as I mentioned, is the next step is going to start making agreements with different countries to start sending American citizens around the world into captivity, into hard labor, because they are, quote unquote, they are criminals. So therefore, they don't have any rights. And yeah, they're American citizens, but we can do what we want because under our Constitution, they're pretty much slaves. And that is going to be a part of the decline. That is a part of the selling off of America. It's not only the resources that we commonly know as the land, the minerals, oil, coal, agriculture, but it's also its citizens. Because you got to get the debt down. You got to remove the people from the country that are taking up all of these services and benefits. You have to get the undesirables out of the country. And the other point I want to touch on as well is just going back to the farmers, the agricultural land throughout the United States. When land was being given out to farmers, there was a concerted effort to make sure that Black farmers did not get land. And some of them did manage to hold on to land that was given to them outside of the government programs. And some were able to get the land as well through government programs. But over time, what happened is that many of these loans and grants that were given out, they seem to, the American government seemed to avoid providing a fair distribution of these resources to all farmers, but instead focused on European descent farmers and cut out Black farmers. And they use many different ways of sabotage, of conspiring against us so that we could not get that financial assistance to build up our farm. And now what you're seeing is you're seeing judgment come upon these people because they are now losing their farms. They are now losing their farms, and they're now asking that, hey, all these tariffs that are being placed on other countries, we need another bailout, or we're going to lose our farm. And many of them are losing their farms. Do you think that they're going to get a bailout again? These European American farmers, do you think they're going to be getting another bailout? Do you think during this time of, restructuring the corporation that is America, cutting back on expenses, do you see that they're going to be getting another bailout? And when I look on like TikTok, I don't see any Black farmers on there saying they're losing their farm. I don't see it. They thought that they can do all of this wickedness and that they could get away with it. And they're still doing it. Because when we ask them and we say that we've been treated unfairly, that there needs to be reparations given, there needs to be an acknowledgement of who we are, they outright say they're not doing that and that we don't deserve anything. We don't deserve any type of reparations. That's what they're saying. They're saying to the so-called Black man and Black woman of America that they should be grateful to be born in America. the judgment that is going to come upon those people is going to be so heavy. It is going to be a complete astonishment. It is going to be unlike anything we have ever seen. Many of them won't even make it straight into captivity because they're not going to be able to bear what is in front of them, what they are facing. Think about all the things that have been done to us, to Yasharal, over the last 400 years, all the wickedness that these people have done. And the Most High said it's going to be worse for them. Oh, yes. Yes, it's going to be worse for them. All praises to the Most High Yahuwah. There is nowhere that they can go and hide. There is no rock that can fall on them to hide them from the wrath of the Most High Yahuwah, from his angels that he will send out to seek out the wicked and destroy them. There is no bunker that is deep enough in the earth that they can stay and get safety from. They will be found, and judgment will be passed. Let us continue to pray and seek the Most High. Let us continue to be in his word and to fellowship with him. I want to thank all of you for joining me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Shalom.